Hey dorks, just a quick message reminding you to head over to twitch.tv/mindgappodcast and give us a follow. We live stream when we record our new podcast episodes, and we're live streaming video game sessions on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. We're playing super rad stuff like Among Us, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, Jackbox games, and Tabletop Simulator. Come hang out and play along with us. That's twitch.tv/mindgappodcast. Mind Gap Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I am Doug.
I am Justin.
And god damn it, I'm so excited because we've got some return guests with us. And not only that, another wonderful duo from another wonderful podcast known as the Reviewniverse. Please welcome Chris and Steve. Welcome back.
Hey! Oh, God.
Oh, thank you.
God.
That's, I'm going to go check that off
really
my bucket
liking,
list. I'll be right back.
I'm liking this new shock jock just vibe that you guys have going on. It really fits. I think it fits what you guys have here. And
For those watching Twitch, you're going to see butts and boobs later.
that's right. Oh yeah, we're all in the same room.
Right.
There's a cardboard cutout of Howard Stern here, and a lot of Jello in a mini kids pool in the middle of the room. So I'm horny to figure out where this is going.
Yeah.
Every time I've tried, I
Not
was
just a
doing
kid's pool,
Howard's,
but a mini kid's pool.
It's extra
Yeah.
small.
I just want to point out that that's what's here. Anyway, carry on, everybody. You're doing great.
Well, we're glad to have you all here. And if you guys don't know Chris and Steve, they've been on the, like I said, they've been on the podcast before, and they have their very own podcast called the Reviewniverse. Go ahead and tell everyone about your podcast, what it is, what it's about, where they can find it. Let's get that out here at the top of the show.
Sure. Yeah. A podcast is called the Reviewniverse with Chris and Steve, and it stars a good old friend named Steve of mine and a good other friend named Chris, who's also myself. And we are stuck in a room together, and we have to review everything in the universe, which usually just means loose themes. Like we did an Oscar special where we reviewed Oscar the Sylvester Stallone movie, and an Oscar Wilde poem, and Oscar the Grouch. So it's fun stuff like that. We
Who's
took
a
little
character on
hiatus this year.
Sesame Street?
That's true. We took a little hiatus this year because of the pandemic, but we started up a YouTube channel called the Streamview-niverse, and we have like 100 plus episodes of us just playing random video games on there. There's nothing behind that one. It's literally just us playing games and talking to each other. That's it. That's
There's
what
reviewing
streaming
shit.
is.
Yeah, right?
Well,
Absolutely.
we do review.
Also, I don't know, like there's like characters and stuff, you know.
It's
We're
not called the
that.
Stream Reviewniverse, Steve. It's called the Streamview-niverse. Okay.
Because that would just be a podcast about people who only review streams, like water.
Yes,
Oh.
which by the way, it's Northern Pike Creek stream, dude, they got the clearest fucking water this side of the Mississippi, which is not a stream, it's a river,
you
so we
don't-
don't review it.
So what kind of games do you guys play on the Streamview-niverse?
We have a
lot of.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, please.
You have a delay, so it's really frustrating to try to talk to you, Steve. You're like 3 seconds behind everybody else.
we did that purposely because
Yeah.
he swears so fucking much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you got to bleep
Fuck
it in
you.
real time. But
That's
no,
fair.
we have a few different
everything's very jumpy over here.
series is going on, but the longest one we have going on is Binding of Isaac, which is one of our favorite games. It's Steve. What else did you enjoy doing?
We did. So my hands down favorite, not necessarily for the game, but just for having a good time with you playing it, was Human Fall Flat. It was really fun. So any sort of like anything we can do co-op is fun. So that was fun. We did it was like A Way Out, the prison escape game. That's really fun. Gosh, what else? We're in Dark Souls 3. We're like 2. One remastered. I'm sorry, Dark Souls 1.
Third time's the charm. Yeah, you had 3 shots and you got to last.
It was fourth. What else have we been playing? We also do we do the Reviewniverse tries, which is fun, where we try
One-off games.
Just I like the $5 play along, which is really fun, where we'll buy each other a game that's $5 or less in the PlayStation Store. And sometimes you get like really great deals. So you get like a cool game that's just on super duper sale. There's also some real shitties out there,
of course.
And we've played some of those, like the Caveman one. And then PlayStation Plus or Minus. We do a lot, as it turns out.
It's true.
Which we review the PlayStation, or we play the free PlayStation games that they give out every month and give it a plus or a minus, meaning we will continue to play it or not.
Cool. That's awesome. With the pandemic, we've gotten a lot more into streaming, obviously, as well. That's become how we do our podcast. Yeah. And we also do a Saturday night stream as well, playing different games. So I just get excited to see other people doing this stuff. So I'm really happy you guys are, going strong and doing some streaming stuff. So people can just search for the Reviewniverse on YouTube and find you guys.
Yep. Should be able to find us.
It's pixel versions of us. I have glasses on. Sorry. I feel like I killed the conversation probably because of the delay.
No, you're not. No. You're not killing anything. You're doing great.
This is face.
I didn't mean to make you feel nervous, Steve. You're doing great, buddy. Keep it up.
The guy who sprinkles the salt on the steak like this?
Salt Bay, yeah.
With the flare. That's just what you're doing to this conversation. You're seasoning the shit out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. I'll take it.
But it doesn't stop, so the salt just continually keeps piling up, and then it gets a little too salty.
But you know what's funny is my microphone is actually on a big tub. I don't know if you can see this.
Is that salt?
No, it's sugar, but looks like salt.
Okay. You could have leaned into it.
I call sugar sweet salt.
I'm not gonna lie to our viewers.
Listen, y'all. Speaking of salt, this is Chris's complaining corner of the episode. We all know everyone's favorite segment, where Chris goes on a quick rant in the Mind Gap episode about what is annoying him this week. Yeah. And guess what? This week, he's taken on Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. That's right. The book, the Netflix show. He bought it, and it was a good book. But we made a chicken dish, and the recipe said put way too much salt in it. Literally quoting, way too much salt in it, like way too much, more than you ever would think is comfortable. So we did that, and then we ate the recipe, and we ate the meal, and it was too salty, and I couldn't eat it. So what's up, Nassim Pedra? Because it was stupid. Wow. Anyways, that's Chris's annoyance corner for the episode. See you later.
So here's the thing, though.
My favorite thing is like
she led you right into the fact that it was too much salt. I feel like you can't be mad. It was in the recipe.
Yeah.
Right, but shouldn't it be
at the
edible?
very least, you knew it was a risk.
You knew it was a risk.
I don't know if you've ever had a dish with too much salt, but where it's like it's almost sour or it's
salty.
just like you're just like
salty.
I've never had that much salt before in like a dish.
It's inedible. It's like in cartoons when their like faces shrivel up and dry. It really feels like that. It's really bad. I hate it.
The first time I ever made a steak by myself, like and at home, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I think I know what I'm doing. I always heard like, oh, just like cake it in salt on both sides because that's what gives it the flavor. I might have gone a little too like if you were to like how much flour is when you deep fry something, that's how much salt was on this thing. I've had too much salt before. And it was a bummer.
And then you knew it was too much when a deer came through your front door and started licking it.
And here's the thing, it was venison. So it was even weirder, you know?
Right. Really it was weird. Fucked up.
Right. Like and then I woke up and I said, I'm never doing LSD again.
Right. Well, I'm not going to drive on Lakeshore Drive. I'm taking the main roads.
Well, we're off to a great start here. So before we go too far in, just a couple of quick housekeeping things. Number one, don't forget to follow us on Spotify. You can follow us and listen to us wherever you get your podcast, but don't forget Spotify. Second of all, join our Discord community. If you're on Twitch right now, just head on down. There's a little icon that says Discord. Click on that. Join our community. We got a bunch of great nerds in there. We are constantly setting up game nights. Talking stuff, Dungeons and Dragons. We're doing memes, we're doing clips, we're doing whatever we want. It's so much fun. Come join us, come hang out. We'd love to have you there.
No adults, we can do whatever we want.
We do whatever we want. We stay up late. It's a real fun time. Yes. Whatever we want.
As much peanut butter as you want.
Also, we have merch at a store. You know, we'll probably change.
Doug won't promote.
We'll probably dump them soon because they're giant sacks of shit. But hey, teespring.com/store/2, the letter E, the number 8. Buy it while you can. Or don't, whatever.
Are you saying that's the Teespring is sacks of shit?
Yeah, Teespring is just a giant sack of shit, and I don't recommend it for anybody. Not at all. Wow. When you set stuff up as a listing, that's the sound it makes when you hit submit, as it fires back at you and says, hey, there's copyright infringement on a logo that you own. And you're like, oh, wait, I'll fill out a counterclaim and say, hey, actually, I own this. Can you re-release it? And then you get an automated response that says, hey, I'm so sorry. Our image detection program mislabeled this, so you should be good to go in the next 24 hours. In the next 24 hours, when you resubmit it, you get a claim saying, hey, your copyright infringement, and then you do this 3 more times, and no one helps you, and they don't give a shit. So teespring.com/
complaint corner with special guest Doug this week.
In the chat, we've got people chiming in. Oh boy, here we go. Woof. This is what we were promised.
Do you want to go ahead and cue up the song, Justin? There it is. Jared called it.
We're already getting a request for the song, so.
Here we go.
Stuff is stupid, stuff is dumb. Doug hates stuff.
Doug hates so much stuff.
Is that a Mind Gap original?
That's a Justin Strander. Everyone's like already like play the song, so they know it. They know what they're usually the ones that remind us that hey, play the fucking song. It's time. Yep. So
I'm gonna become a WWE wrestler and walk out to that song. I'm not gonna wrestle, but I'm gonna get to the Nassau Coliseum, walk out the thing with lasers in that song, and then I'm gonna. I was just like,
is your wrestler name going to be Doug?
Maybe Dig Doug, right? And just walk out like a shovel, like a leather kind of like garter belt kind of thing, like one of those gimpy things, and like I don't know, like a yellow miner's hat with the light, right? And then I walk out to that song. Actually, could you just play the song again?
Absolutely.
That's something we can do.
Stuff is stupid, stuff is dumb. Doug hates stuff.
Steve, could you please leave and walk out to it?
This was my
Steve, walk out to the song. You were on screen when the song started. If you want to be a true wrestler, stand up and go do it.
Okay. Yeah, let's do this. I'm just hoping I can hear it.
I'll give you a 5-second countdown.
If you're just listening, Chris is counting down for Steve to walk into frame here.
Right. I love the fact that our podcast listeners are going to love
3, 2, 1. Here we go, bud.
Stuff is stupid, stuff is dumb. Doug hates stuff.
He didn't do it. He's still off screen.
He's still not back.
3, 2, 1.
Stuff is stupid, stuff is dumb. Doug hates stuff.
He's not carrying the axe. It's all good. It's all good.
He's supposed to have a shovel.
It's all right. This is
points to the camera, thumbs down. Absolutely. Oh, this is the bit.
I give that a 2 out of 10.
Oh,
these are the bits that work on an audio medium.
this is what I love. This is what I love. Also,
I'm really good at those.
Justin, do you have like a little sound effect that's like a big deal, like an announcement sort of thing? You got something you can cue up for us? Like, we hit hit 25,000 downloads on MindGap. A little over 5 years, 25,000 downloads. Just want to say thank you, guys.
Very happy.
They were very happy. Thank you to everyone who listens to the show and downloads. I think this year alone we had 11,000. So thank you all for listening and hanging out with us and supporting guys like Chris and Steve and all of our guests that come on here. Truly, we really appreciate it. We have fun doing this, and it's just nice to know that people listen. So thank you all very much for that. So
congrats, guys!
Awesome. Congratulations!
Thank you.
Yes.
Jared says cool. Jared says 24,800 of those were him. So thank you, Jared. Also, just a reminder in case you don't know, we do play and stream games every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Central Time at twitch.tv/MindGapPodcast. Last Saturday, we played Left 4 Dead 2, and holy shit, did we have a good time. We got so many great clips and highlights. You can check those out on our Twitch page. Check out those clips and highlights. Insanely good time. One of my all-time favorite games, which, by the way, if you don't know, there is a winter sale going on Steam, and Left 4 Dead 2 is $2. So pick up that game for $2. You can thank me later. So do that. It was so much fun.
It's a great game.
Phenomenal
Chris will even
game.
buy you a copy of it for $2.
Look at that. He will buy you a copy of it for $2.
Yeah, just one of you though. Just one of you.
It's a contest.
And it has to be in person though.
It has to be in person. And you have to record your best cover of Doug Hates Stuff. That's the entry into grand prize. And you know what? I'll even front like a second place, right? So Chris will give $2 to the winner. I will give $2 to the person in second place.
You mean the person who lost?
Are we only anticipating two people doing
I'm just saying you get the first place, then the next person is the person who lost, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Okay. Yeah, we do that too. That works. Yeah. So
Steve, you draft up the terms and conditions, and then we'll send them over to you guys.
We'll have our lawyer look it over. Yeah,
that'll be great.
Fair warning, they're similar to Teespring.
Our T's and C's are very close to TS, which is Teespring.
Our T's are like their T's. Our C's are different.
Anyway, this coming Saturday, I'm going to play a game called Total War Warhammer 2. It's a strategy game. I love it. I've logged close to 700 hours in this game. And here's the thing. I'm also not very good at it. So it's one of my favorite games. So I'm looking forward to playing it. So come check that out. It's based in the Warhammer universe, the fantasy universe. It's sort of a strategic game. If you've ever played a Total War game, like Total War Rome, Total War Shogun, all that sort of stuff. Really cool game. I'm a big fan of it. Come hang out. That's 8 p.m. Central Time. Twitch.tv/MindGapPodcast. Come hang out and have a good time. All right. With all that done.
Sorry.
No, Steve, please.
I feel bad. You had a good flail.
Cool, thanks.
Is Warhammer the one where when we were younger, like you painted the little guys, like the monsters, and you painted them? Cool. So that's just like
a tabletop RPG.
Like, oh, okay. So now that's just like is it kind of like a Warcraft sort of, or is it different?
Let me say this: Warcraft stole from Warhammer.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. You hear that, Blizzard?
Yeah.
That's,
fuck you, Blizzard. Just like they stole from they based StarCraft off of Warhammer 40K. So
and they based Star Fox off of the Fox and the Hound.
That's so
goddamn true. They based the Fox and the Hound off of a Fox and a Hound.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Oh, is it my turn? And they based that Fox off of Michael J. Fox, and they based that Hound off of the Long Island Sound, which rhymes with hound.
Doug, take us home.
It's been a long day.
I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to remember one very important thing.
I put my dick in worse.
So just keep going from there. All right. So.
Oh, is that Matt from New Zealand?
That is.
Who said that? Matt from New Zealand?
It's Matt from New Zealand who just
Matt from New Zealand. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
New Zealand, where they filmed that Star Wars trilogy. Oh, no, sorry, Harry Potter. Jared, you dumb fuck.
He was our fan first. You guys stole it.
So a little bit of
And he
backstory.
clearly remembers the good old days.
We were playing.
Fucking Australian, fucking nice man.
We were playing Left 4 Dead
really
2,
nice.
and I told Jared we were going to have Chris and Steve on for the podcast. He goes, "Oh, I can't wait! I love Chris and Matt." And I was like, "Chris and Matt?" He's like, "Oh shit! I mean, Chris and Steve." And just good to know that he's still a fan of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, we haven't uploaded an episode for since March. Actually, we uploaded 2 episodes this week. So check those out.
Nice.
For the holidays,
Listen
we
to us
one of
anyway.
them we do an advent calendar together, well, virtually, and the other one we give each other presents and open them
Nice.
live on air.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
Very cute.
It's our holiday.
Can I
tradition.
ask, was one of the advent calendars that you procured from Trader Joe's?
No, it was an LOL Pop surprise Trader Joe's. It was an LOL Pop surprise advent calendar and a Friends advent calendar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Actually, Justin, we not like 2 weeks ago, obviously, but last Christmas, Chris and I were at Target prepping for this podcast because we usually go to Target and walk around, and we bumped into you and your family.
Yes, you did.
It was, you and your dad,
Yeah.
I think.
It was that. Yes, that's right. It was that same. We were doing that same episode last year, and we bumped into you and 1 or 2 family members. I can't quite recall, but
That
there was
sounds
a little.
correct. I do remember.
probably
meeting
really
you
exciting
guys,
for
but I
everyone
do
who
not
wasn't there,
remember my
so sorry.
family being there.
Well, sorry
It
to
just goes to show
derail
how
you.
memorable you guys are.
Was there a reason why you brought up Trader Joe's advent calendars? Was it?
That's the only place that I've seen advent calendars recently because you and I both live right near a Trader Joe's.
Yes,
And so when I saw that you guys did that, I was like, I think I told Doug and Seth, I was like, I guarantee one of the I thought you guys were reviewing like 10 advent calendars, like which advent calendar is the best. And so I'm like, one of them's going to be from Trader Joe's. I guarantee it. And I was wrong.
So that would have been. I wish we would have done that many advent calendars. All we did was we duel
had the
them. So
time.
we each have an advent calendar. We open up each day at the same time, and we put it against each other to decide who is the best.
I like that too, though. I like that too.
Yeah. First year, Chris had this really fancy, like I call it like a European farm because it's just like really well, like I don't know, old fashioned and made advent calendar, and I had Paw Patrol. That was really fun. Now I like Paw Patrol.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That like incited some weird sort of obsession in Steve's brain where he's obsessed with Paw Patrol. He got me a Paw Patrol DVD for Christmas.
For the listeners,
there's a Paw Patrol
he's
guy.
showing us a Paw Patrol figurine.
Oh,
on the
sorry, I
screen.
keep forgetting there are people.
I believe
sorry.
that's
And here's
Charm.
the DVD he got me.
Oh,
It's Paw
I
Patrol
don't like where
Dino.
this is going.
Yeah,
and
are you like-
Chris and his fiance got me the Paw Patrol potty training book. To be fair, it was in the mailroom for 2 years and nobody picked it up.
So what's the
that wasn't-
equivalent of this? Like, there's bronies for My Little Pony. What's it for Paw Patrol?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Patronies.
it's
Patronies?
Yeah.
Patronies?
I would call
Patroni.
myself like a paw, like
a
cadet.
apologist.
Jesus Christ, a politician. Oh man, I bet that
Yeah.
universe has politicians.
Someone
Like,
suggested,
it has-
Noah Reno suggested puppers.
Pupper's pretty good.
Furries.
That's good. Yeah. No, I really just that first year I really liked this little figurine. It was like he's like the construction dog because all the dogs are different, like public
Jobs.
works employees. And there's this construction guy. It's this
Yeah,
construction
it
guy. His name is Rubble, and he drives around in a fucking tank. Or like a bulldozer, I guess, like a construction tank. I was gonna call it, and he's kind of great.
It's
I'm
mostly used
100%
for
using that from now
deconstructing,
on.
but
Yeah. So I just liked that little. I like that little guy, and it just kind of turned into a joke. But at the same time, I do have a little dog cop on my desk. His name is Chase. He's
the worst
in my
one.
opinion.
First of all, he's a fucking police officer, so fuck you. Second off, he's like a goody two shoes.
Yeah,
So
it's
stop
like
it.
it's like if you watch Saved by the Bell, the
Mhm.
kids that Zach picked on, like the leader of those kids would be this dog.
Gotcha.
That's
That
such
is
a weird random
That's an
reference.
obscure reference, and I
We got some
everything
D.
about it.
So Jared wrote, "All cop dogs go to hell." Okay, so speaking of Christmas and presents and gifts and things that people give people, there's a hotly into what?
Are we just gonna skip right over the 0.7 second thing?
Oh, we're doing that first, right? Sorry,
No,
my bad.
fuck it. Let's jump in. No, let's go into the cyber.
No,
let's do it. Do it.
No. Justin, do it. Here's what we got.
Doug, we might as well call you the founder of the Segway empire, because your Segway just fell right off a cliff there.
I take that as a compliment. Thank you, sir.
Oh, wow.
I'm the master of segues, sir. Thank you very much.
We can tack this at the end.
No,
Let's
we're
just
not.
jump
We're making time for it right now, motherfucker. All right. So as you all know,
I'm worried this is going to take too much time and we won't be able to get into the thing. Let's just get into the thing.
Okay, fine. I've reconsidered.
So this is what it's like to be on our podcast, Steve, when we start fighting.
So
I feel at home.
Nice. So there's been a hotly anticipated game that was supposed to come out in 2020, and it did. And that game was been worked on for many a year and has been shown at many a convention, and people were getting hot and bothered over this game. And this game we're talking about is called Cyberpunk 2077. And to kind of set up what we're doing, Justin and I have a new correspondent. We have a new person who is our sort of video game expert, who sort of did a little bit of research and gave us a little bit of information. So let's hear from this person first, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the game and how it goes. Justin, you cue up what our new correspondent has to say.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Listeners to the Mind Gap podcast, gamers and alike. You already know who this is. JJ PogChamp Howard, giving you the scoop on the newest gaming news, controversies, and news. This week, we're taking a look at Blu-ray Project's game. It's Cyberpunk 2077. Everybody has heard about it. Everybody knows about it. Everybody knows that it's got the best graphics. It's got the best hardware. It's got the best everything. This game is supposed to be awesome, but real talk, it's not that awesome. It's actually pretty wicked fucking sad, because these developers, they had to work under terrible crunch, 75-hour weeks for months and months and months with no extra pay, nothing. And then it doesn't even work on previous gen consoles. Y'all, this game started development in 2012, and it doesn't work on a console that didn't even come out when they started development. I mean, it's unreal. It's ridiculous. CBD Projekt just lied to us. I mean, what are we supposed to do as consumers? Get refunds? I mean, Sony already pulled it off of their store. All right. That's enough from me. I could go on and on and on. I'm going to send it back to you guys over on the podcast. Let me know what you think. And follow me on Twitter at JJPogChamp69.
JJ PogChamp, thank you, sir. This is our new subject matter expert on games. This is his first appearance. Here he is in the chat. We'll talk about your payment later, JJ PogChamp, but thank you for your contribution.
You got a SME on this
subject matter expert, baby. We got the SME all day, all night, Oh
God.
Hashtag SMS assist, where we all worked at one point.
Never forget.
I'm sorry for everybody.
I almost.
Well, you kind of did tangentially, You were an independent contractor.
I got hired by them as a freelance contractor. So yes, technically you're right.
Yeah, we're all.
I also almost got a legit job with them, and then that job fell right the fuck through the floor.
That means we're all married now, I think, right? Is that common law marriage?
It's something
Did
like
we
that.
have sex?
I don't know. We're related somehow now.
We'll get to the butt in a second.
There we go.
Is this Eskimo Brothers?
I think so. We're all living it.
Well, sorry to bogart that, but JJ PogChamp, I think you did a really good job out on the field. And I'd like to hire you to sum up pretty much every game that comes out from here on out. I'll pay you 15 cents a second.
Todd, are you a Boston guy?
Yeah, you know what? We if you look at his Wikipedia page, he was born simultaneously in Chicago, in Boston, and in Brooklyn. So
yeah,
Yeah.
And in Hawaii, because in Hawaii, I guess because he really likes Pog, which is papaya, orange, and guava. They're one of their best flavors.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everything.
I feel like I've mentioned this in the past, but when I was a kid and Pogs were a thing, I bought a slammer that those are the things. I actually don't really know how you play, but those are like the big heavy boys.
Oh yeah.
And I bought one that I wish I still had, because I'm just curious if it's like worth anything. But it was a little slammer and it had a guy behind bars and it said OJ in the slammer and the prisoner number was 32. That dates Pogs a little, but that's a thing that I had as like a
Oh my god.
I wish
12-year-old.
Christ you still had that.
Yeah. I bet if you I imagine I wasn't the only one, and I'd be willing to bet that if you Google searched OJ in the slammer, something will pop up.
I'll say this, please, if anyone out there has one of those Pogs, please send it to.
It's a slammer, Justin.
Yes, sorry. If anyone has the Slamma,
Thank you.
send it to 2 East 8th Productions, 541 North Fairbanks Court, number 2200, Chicago, Illinois 60611, and we will feature it predominantly on this podcast. It might even have you as a guest, so please send that in.
Did you just make up an address?
What's that?
So, speaking of slammers and who's going to be in the slammer is CD Projekt Red for making this game Cyberpunk 2077. See, so I'm telling you, I am the champion. I am the champion
because you just segued off a cliff.
Goddamn right.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. So this game has a ton of controversy. Full disclosure, I have no dog in this fight. The game didn't interest me in the slightest. It's just a type of game that doesn't interest me. So I've just sort of been on the sidelines watching, and just sort of observing, and it's gotten a shitload of negative press, to say the least. I think that is a pretty big understatement as far as going on for a number of reasons. I think one of the first ones was the idea of crunch, which for folks who don't know is to say it's a mandatory overtime, I think is pretty close. Like essentially the expectation is that you're going to be working 70 to 80 hours a week, whatever it takes to sort of like meet these deadlines. And the people working on this game did this from like March until November, almost December, every week, 70, 80 hours. The expectation was you will be here, you will be doing this to meet these deadlines. And on top of that, the game comes out, it's full of bugs and it doesn't work right. Like, what are your guys' reaction to something like that?
So I've been following this for a long time, and I think crunch is pretty rampant in the video game industry, but where this is a different, what makes this newsworthy and why this blew up the way it did was because CD Projekt Red is for a long time was known as like the cool developer, and like they were really, really, really well done in the way that they communicated with the public. And so why this is a big issue is because they were so adamant that they would never make their developers crunch at all. They went on record saying we would never ever push our developers to crunch, especially when, you know, a game is being pushed up or pushed out. And then they did. So the hypocrisy there is why it blew up the way it did, which is really does not look good for them. But I will say, Doug, I think that's a big thing because crunch is huge in the video game industry, but this is a kind of another level.
Yeah. Steve, what do you think about it?
Like crunch or just the release, or
well, kind of like, you know, it crunching as it relates to the release. Like, what do you, you know, what's your sort of take on that? Because I mean, to some extent, I get it. Like, you know, sometimes shit has to get done, right? Like you gotta, you know, I've worked in situations where I'm like, hey, for these next couple of weeks, like I got to put in as many hours as it takes to get something done. But I also look at that as if that is the rule of the law of the land, then it's like, are you managing this project correctly? If that's the case, you know, especially since this has been in, I don't know shit about how to produce games. I'm not an expert in that. So, but if I hear this has been in development since 2012, 2013, and it's just barely getting launched at the end of 2020, kind of feel like something something didn't happen right there. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What do you
Not to
think?
mention, it was developed by a team of about 500, is what these articles are saying. Like that is
huge.
There's no excuse. But Steve, please go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, well, a few things just got brought up, right? One is managing the product, right? Which is like it's a hard thing to do. It's like you are air traffic control. I'm sure they have like a team of product managers, right? And there's like a lead product manager, but it's all about, that's really one of the most important things, right? Now, to Doug's point, I've also never made a video game. No, not true. I made one in 5th grade. But
yeah, it was great. It was called Steve's Candy Quest. I beat it. And it's weird. The only candy was Charleston Chews that you could get, but I guess that's good for the Charleston Chew Company. Anyway, sorry, Steve, go ahead.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes you do need a lot of people to put out a really good product, but if you're not reining in expectations and reining people in, and I say this to say, like, I don't know who the product team reports to, so like they could very well have been completely on schedule, but then someone above them, there's always somebody above you, right, yelling down of, you have to do this, you have to do this. So it's possible that things were where they were supposed to be, and then like the Hollywood, who just wants to see, like, I think Jared said, like Keanu Reeves in this thing. It's like, hey, let's put all our money in Keanu Reeves and maybe cut back on this. So really, I think I don't know. It's you're right, Doug. Sometimes that's a thing that just needs to happen. But if you're clear with me on that from the start and you're paying me to do it, okay, fine. But at the same time, like, I think
what's weird, Steve. What's weird is that the game was delayed so many times.
Right.
So
No.
that's what makes the crunch question so weird, is like, why are they crunching when they've delayed upwards? I think it's almost 4 or 5 times.
It was considerable how many times they delayed it.
I know about the delays, but I guess in my head, they were probably crunching every single one of these times, right? That's how I probably see all this going down. So to say that this crunch is the one that failed is probably not super fair, because it was probably one of the earlier ones. Now, to the point of releasing it and delaying it a bunch of times, like I think most video game fans would agree, I would rather have a game be delayed 5 times and come out great, because people will be forgiving, right? Like, you remember the product.
Steve, one of my favorite quotes by Shigeru Miyamoto, I think it is, I actually have it here. A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad.
That's
And
really
that's
well put.
Pretty true.
And this is the
especially
one
with what's
game
going
that
on now.
proves that wrong.
Yep. But to that point, right? If you keeping they made such a big deal about the delays, right? So that's just going to raise expectations even more. So like, if this came out the first time and it super sucked, like, it would have sucked, but not as bad as this, right? So that's where I am on it.
It's just the hype train was way out of control on this one. Like,
Right.
I think just the way that the pedigree of the company, the way that they hyped up their own product, the delays, the crunch, like, just everything was like a perfect storm into it would have had to gone out completely without a hitch. And I think this is the new normal for video games, is a lot of times with AAA products like this, you're going to get unfinished games, or you're going to get games that they tried to put as much as they could in, but didn't have enough time. So they had to pick and choose what features they wanted in the game until they could patch them. I think a great example of this is No Man's Sky, which came out a few years ago.
That's the planets one, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
and it was like the same sort of like hype train, where this guy was excited about his product, started going on all these interviews and giving all these features, and then as time went on, they realized, oh shit, we can't do all of this, so they had to pick and choose. And then when the game came out, it was kind of unfinished and kind of crappy. But now, 5 years later, they have put consistent quality updates into the game for completely free. And the game is something kind of incredible now, but it took 5 years to get there. Same with CD Projekt Red. They did the same thing with Witcher 3. You know, they put 16 pieces of free DLC out plus pay DLC. They're saying they're going to do the same thing for Cyberpunk. So I'm rambling a bit to say I have this game. I've played this game. I have a PS5. I've played it on the PS5 for a few hours. I know, right? I'm wiping my shoulders off for people who are listening. But I stopped. I stopped playing after 4 hours because I want to see the game in its completed state, and it's not there. So I'm going to wait.
And I have a PS4, so I would have like the old PS4, so like it would be like the worst possible. Yeah. Well, if Chris is going to flex with his PS5, I want you guys to know what's going on over here. I bought it refurbished. So I
have an N64. You want to measure dicks? What are we doing here?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. But
if I were on video.
Again, great content for an audio medium.
Yeah. It's probably better content for the audio video people, let's be honest. Audio than the video, I should say. What were we talking about? Release. Oh, yeah. I was going to say so I had the PS4. So like after hearing that, I did not pre-order it. I was very close to pre-ordering it a bunch of times and I just never got around to it. I would have, I just didn't. So I'm really glad I didn't. But I do believe, like Chris is saying, I don't know as much about the No Man's Sky, but I do believe that these people are going to pull through eventually on this. They just did a bad job at the start. I will give them money for the game at some point, but when I start hearing good things, right? Or when I get a PS5, probably when I get a PS5, but still.
Yeah. And that's the thing is even the last generation stuff, people are saying it's unplayable. That's not really the case. I have the PS4 version, and that's what I've been playing on.
But you're playing on a PS5.
That's what I was going to say. Granted, it runs smoother on a PS5, but it is still. But it is still.
We all got done what we were supposed to make it done.
But at least from what I've read, it's not bad. It's just the graphic settings are a little lower, and it's not optimized to play on that type of system. It's also a 9-year-old console at this point, right? When did PS4 come out? It's also not only 9 years,
13, 14, right? I think.
Yeah. Yes, and
you could Google it, but I'm not gonna.
I don't know. Have you guys watched glitch videos of CD Projekt?
I try to
Red?
stay away from those because they give me nightmares.
For the record, PS4 came out in the US November 15th, 2013.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff on Twitter and stuff of wild shit happening. Someone's riding a motorcycle, they make a corner, they're driving, the screen goes black for a few seconds, comes back on, and they're flying up into the sky away from the ground. And they're like,
I saw that one.
What? And things are going to have glitches, right? Things are going to happen and whatnot. But I think
they are, yeah.
But I think the scale at which this is happening, and based on what they were promising and knowing that people were going into crunch, and there's some of the other details I want to get into this, I think it's definitely leaving a bad taste in people's mouth. But I want to also kick this over to Justin. Justin, you're what we would call a layman when it probably comes to video games. You are very much, no, I'm just saying, you like to lay down and,
you're
really
a lame man.
You're there. He said it. Not
or a
me.
lame man.
Oh man, I don't know what to do with all this.
Yeah, we're just
Yeah,
just giving it to you. You do whatever you want with it. This is your show. We're just guests
here to insult you.
Yeah,
I'm here to take it. I'm here to bend over and take it.
So as someone who doesn't follow the stuff on the regular, what are your thoughts on this? What's your perspective? I guess more of a question is just based on what you've heard about the game and whatever, what are your what's your reaction to it?
My 9 to 5, I work at a software company, and just based off purely software development, I don't understand. I'm in the same camp of, I don't understand how you have people, in this intense amount of crunch. And it's been in development since 2012, and you've got 500 people working on it, and all of this other, I don't understand how you put out, if it's delayed this many times, this is a gigantic fuck up of an oversight. Like this, to me, this goes right to the project managers. This was poor project management, and I don't know how many levels up you want to go with that, but like, I mean, to really take it to the top, because at the end of the day, you know, the person in command, the person at the top is responsible for what comes out. So this just seems like piss poor project management to me. There's absolutely no reason that something that has been in development for 8 years and has, again, 500 people putting in 80-hour weeks should be delayed this many times and still come out looking like dog shit.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that.
Develop things. There's ways, and also running on later gen consoles. Like, yeah, it's anything running on a PS4 is never going to look as good as running on a PS5. But there are ways to code things to where it at least is optimized for a later gen console. So the fact that there's this many inconsistencies and bugs and everything, this is just purely inexcusable. And furthermore, I'm not a huge gamer. This was the game that I thought was actually going to take me into the promised land of gaming, and it's just pushed me further away. I don't think I'll ever recover from this, quite frankly. I'm a puzzle guy now, straight up, analog.
It's your turn to have the angry corner of the screen.
Yes.
The promised land of gaming.
Yeah.
Wow.
Puzzles are where it's at, bro.
I think, man, I have there's a lot of thoughts, but I think in general, it's just another case of don't get too fucking hyped for a game. A game's there's no game that's gonna fucking save gaming or, you know, revolutionize the world. Like it's like a fine open world first person shooter. Sure.
Let me ask you guys this: as three gamers or three people who are more into games than I am, do you think the state of gaming? Do you think it's reaching a level where the hype is almost outpacing the games themselves or the capabilities of the developers?
100%. And I think it's hype crossed with patience. People need to have patience, and people don't have patience, especially gamers. And I think in the other example we talked about, No Man's Sky, and this example, it's pretty much comes down to the same thing. If people could have been patient and waited for when the game was complete, then we wouldn't be here talking about this on either count. Because if they had all the time in the world to make the perfect game, then there wouldn't be these issues. And I think that's what Nintendo does. Is Nintendo doesn't release games that are glitchy or rushed, or because they delay their games an insane amount of time because of that same quote. They wait until their games are perfect to release them. And the problem with No Man's Sky and CD Projekt Red or Cyberpunk is that they didn't. And I think that's what it comes down to.
Well, just to kind of piggyback off of that, before Blizzard was purchased by Activision, I feel like Blizzard had that same like level of quality where there would be an insane amount of hype for a game and they would delay it, and they'd say, look, we don't want to do this, but we also don't want to release a game that's not ready. Like, we'd rather you have a great experience. And I got to the point where I expected delays from them, but I was typically happy with the release of the games. Like, it seemed like a nice, fully finished product. And for me, it built trust with that company. It built a good reputation, a good brand of they're going to take their sweet time to make sure that this is a good release. And I think also going to your point, some stuff I've been seeing in the chat is pre-orders or games that are like, hey, this is an early access game. Buy it now, get in now. Well, essentially it's in an alpha version, which, you know what, for some games, I don't mind. It's fine, whatever. I pay $15-$20 for an early access game, no big deal. But I fell prey to buying the new Baldur's Gate 3 game from Larian Studios. And I played it for a little bit and then I just stopped because I'm like, this game is not functional yet. This is full of bugs. And it's not a good experience. And I'm like, you know what? I went ahead and bought it. When it's done, I'll play it through. But I didn't need to buy it because I'm like, why would I? And this is a game that this is Larian Studios, the guys who did Divinity, Original Sin 2, and all these other games. Like, there's no reason to do that other than they want funding. You know, they need funding or however they want to do it.
That's the fine line, right? Is like some people do need the funding, and you know, showing your support for that game before it's come out, I think is kind of important. Like a well-developed game studio named Supergiant recently, they did like Bastion and Transistor.
Love them.
But they recently came out with a game called Hades, and it is arguably my favorite game of the year. It's fucking incredible, but it was in early access for almost 3 years before it came out.
And IGN just called that game of the year.
It is. It's truly incredible, and I highly recommend anyone to play it. It's very similar to Binding of Isaac, where it's like you're doing a run over and over, and you're gaining powers, and you try to get to the end, whatever. But they had it released in early access for almost IGN 3 years, and it just goes to show you that the game would not be the level that it was if they didn't have those 3 years of funding, able to not only get the money to make the game, but get active feedback from the people who are playing it to be like, hey, I guarantee you the game would not be the way it is if they didn't have the hundreds of thousands of people giving them feedback of like, hey, you should probably try this, or this is a little annoying, or, you know, so they listen to their fans. And that's why I like early access games. But it's also frustrating for people who, like you, Doug, who just want to play a finished game and it's out and you can pay money for it, but it's going to sit there for a good 2 years until it becomes the perfect way that you want to play it. So you just kind of have to pick and choose.
Well, as soon as you said Hades, the chat blew up. A bunch of people were like, they love Hades. I've watched a fellow streamer that we really enjoy, is Fancy Ramen TV. He's been playing Hades, and I just sit back and watch and enjoy the game. Like, this game looks like it's beautifully,
it's incredible.
Like, it just looks great. The voice acting, the story, it looks phenomenal, and I understand why it's gotten all the hype. And I think there's a difference between, like, I want to sign up for the closed beta of this game, and I want to help test this game. I want to help find the bugs. I want to help give them feedback versus, hey, this game's available to buy, come on in, you know. And if you don't understand that this is not complete, I guess it's all about expectations, right? And kind of going back to Cyberpunk 2077, they also set the wrong expectations. They showcased footage that was not accurate, that was only available on top systems or specific things, or they had review embargoes from review sites.
I've never heard of that before.
Which is, I've
never heard of review embargoes?
I've heard about that for movies, and that's always a bad sign.
Not to the degree. Let me clarify. Not to like the degree of what these guys did. Like, the first time I heard it, I was like, "That's insane." Sorry, we should probably say what this is, right? Yeah. Doug, you do it. You're good at it.
Well, thanks, man. Essentially, the studio told reviewers, you are not allowed to post a review of this game until we say so. And so typically, if people don't have anything to hide, they're like, hey, whenever you're done, you can start releasing it as soon as you want. And people will start releasing reviews. And when they were allowed to release reviews, they had to use specific images that were provided to them by the game studio, which was high quality, high res. I think they were PC specific images. So essentially they were lying to everyone, and they were building this monolith of what this game was going to be. And one of my favorite memes that came out of this was it was like a meme on a meme of someone's like, it's showing you the E3 coverage of the game, and it's playing like the Jurassic Park thing. It's like, welcome to Jurassic Park. And right as it hits that crescendo, it's someone playing this on some really bad instrument. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
A melodica.
Yes. And they switch to what actually it is. It's just really bad rendered stuff, and it doesn't look good. It's like, this is what you were offering, and this is what we got. And that was kind of like the typical process with that.
Yeah. But to me, that's like
embargo. Dumb. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Review embargoes are always usually, I would say 90% of the time, a red flag.
Yeah. Like, unless you're hiding something really, really cool. Like, it's like the murderer being like, don't look in the closet, police officers. Like, because there's not a dead body in there that I put in there. So just stay away from the closet.
Sir, you're telling us there's not a dead body in the... I mean, I'm going to have to open the closet now if you're telling me not to go in there.
What I'm telling you is I'd rather you pay attention to my Christmas setup in the living room.
No, I really like your Santa setup.
Until I get
You have a lot of Santas, sir. Step away from the closet, sir. Step away from the closet.
Okay.
Up, and you have a dead Santa in here. I knew it. I knew that those Santas were too cool to be fake.
Right, but just
You're
don't
under arrest for Santicide.
Just don't tell anybody, and we're good.
You're under arrest for Santicide.
Santicide is pretty good. Santicide.
I also like don't tell anyone, and we're good. To the cop. just keep it to yourself, and we're all fine, man.
Yeah.
This is an AB conversation, so anybody else tries to come in, we'll tell them to see their way out. That's Aing, right?
I didn't I'm not like totally sucking Nintendo's dick earlier, because Nintendo does this bullshit too. They have crazy weird embargoes.
And also, I don't see you with a penis in your mouth.
Well, it's a metaphorical penis. I've talked about these for a long time.
Doug's eyes just fell out of his head.
But Nintendo does this too, where like reading certain reviews for their games, just the weird, crazy embargoes or like restrictions they have on reviews for people, where you can only talk about a specific portion of a scene because they don't want any specific like aspects of the game to be talked about. So these reviewers have to do these weird song and dances around. Go ahead.
No. All I was going to say is on that same point, like I think sometimes though it's done really well, right? We got into a hilarious bit. I don't know if you guys were here about a thing, but the point I was getting to before was like sometimes the review embargoes of like don't look at this is because they're hiding something really cool, like a really cool reveal, or like and like that's the best stuff, right? So maybe there was some sort of hope for that, just to be a little devil's advocate.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. That's all. Whatever. Doug hates stuff. Doug hates stuff. I'm entering the contest for Left 4 Dead.
So let me ask you guys this then. Does this, for this company then, is this a gigantic black eye on this company? Like have they shot themselves in the foot for future releases? Have they like just really gone south with their credibility with their fans?
I think the frustrating part about this, I would agree. And I think the frustrating part about this is that it's not too much worse than a normal bad game release with bugs if it wasn't for the hype. And the hype just makes it blows.
You think
so
they shot
much
themselves in the foot with the hype?
It wasn't necessary. God, I hate saying this, but I was going to say it's not necessarily their fault. It's every game's developer's job to hype their own games, right? But when you have this much time and you have this pedigree of this company, then the hype is going to start to get out of control. I think the same thing happened with No Man's Sky. They had only done 2 indie games before this. So like when the ball started rolling way out of their control, they're like, oh, fuck, we have the world to live up to. And I think even for CD Projekt Red, who's a really well-established developer and has a lot of fans, it rolled way out of control on this one.
But isn't that on them though? Because I look at like all the advertisements, and like again, for someone who's not super plugged into games, I've seen this fucking thing everywhere. I've been it has been in my fucking it's on bus stops, it's on the sides of buses, cab toppers. I've seen countless TV ads and pre-rolls in front of YouTube videos. How
many TVs you got, dude?
Oh,
I think you put it really well, Justin, where it's you as a person who's a non-gamer, you caught this attention. You thought it was the second coming of gaming. And of course
that's exactly what I thought. Cause like the way that to me as a non-gamer, the way this was billed is this is going to be the new revolution for games. This will be the best game that's ever hit shelves, period, hard stop. That's it.
Right.
Like this is going to
anybody in
you need to get into games because of this.
If anybody in a marketing who has a marketing degree was handed us like a golden platter like that, they're going to advertise exactly the same way that CD Projekt Red did. Or with, and again, I'm not blaming CD Projekt Red because they did everything that they should have done considering the circumstances involving the marketing. Because you're going to blow it out of proportion because everyone in the goddamn world heard of this game. So
yeah, but if you know that you're not, if you know the game is not, there's no way that during development they were not aware that there were some major fucking issues. So like, why would they lean so far? Is CD Projekt Red the top, or is there like a larger publisher above them that this rolls into?
They're the top. They're kind of like a Valve. If I don't know if you're aware of Valve.
Yeah, but, absolutely. Yeah. Valve is the only games that I play. The three games
so, you know,
that I play are from Valve.
Valve owns Steam and has Steam as their storefront. CD Projekt Red has one called GOG or Good Old Games, if I'm not mistaken. They have their own. So they're like
Good Old Games is Project Red.
Yeah, they own GOG.com, and so they're like. It was in the materials that Doug gave us to read, Steve. So I mean, you should have known that, but
it was in your dossier. Your senior red dossier.
They're way high up. They're a big deal. And
so my point being, then, like if they're the top of the, like if they don't roll up to an Activision or an EA or to a who the fuck else ever, like if they don't roll up to a larger publisher, then they were in control, theoretically, of this marketing the entire time. They had to know. Was it just a matter of, one hand not knowing what the other hand was doing? Did the developers 100%. And the marketing department not know?
Well, I also think there's an element there, too, where the investors also were driving to have this thing get released because I think they wanted to get their return as well.
Yeah,
so they were very much being like, you guys keep delaying this. Well, what the fuck? Like, let's do this. And then, now it got to the point, it was such a bad release that they're offering refunds to people who purchased this. Sony took it off of their storefront, and now supposedly the investors are possibly going to sue CD Projekt Red because this is not what they wanted. So this is such a quagmire of nastiness that, I mean,
giggity.
Does this also set a precedent then too for like where people can demand the refunds and demand like if the game doesn't hit the expectations, then the court of public opinion goes, well, you need to give us our money back.
Well, people are always asking for refunds based on Steam fucking reviews. I see. They're like, the game won't do it. I want a refund. It's like, yeah, that's always gonna be there. That's always gonna exist.
The interesting part, the big thing is Sony allowed refunds because Sony does not allow refunds. Steam allows refunds. Xbox allows refunds. Everybody allows refunds. Sony is so like ironclad in there. Once you've bought it, you cannot. And actually, funny story, I bought No Man's Sky on the PS4.
You're right.
And I chatted a guy and like argued with him for a good 20 minutes to try to get a refund. They would not budge. So it's like the fact that they've allowed and taken it off their store. And I think this is another thing where people who are asking for refunds are probably not dealing with widespread glitches and shutdowns and stuff like that. It's probably just a kind of a wave of mutilation, where people are just riding the wave and being like,
song.
That was the reference I was making, but
yeah, sweet, great song.
But I don't. My guess is that people who are asking for refunds don't have the amount of glitches that everyone else is seeing. I don't know. This is complete speculation, but
yeah, I mean, I think going back one question quickly, is this going to ruin their reputation? If it was the first game they ever released, they're fucking done. But because they have released tons of successful games, enough like wildly successful games that but like they were so big, right? Like it's like a Star Wars trilogy of the game world.
But which Star Wars trilogy?
The middle.
Okay.
The unreleased one.
Rogue One, Solo.
Directed by What's his name? He did the Last Jedi.
Han Solo.
His name's Rian Johnson. And it's his unreleased trilogy that Kathleen Kennedy gave him after the Last Jedi came out, and then now it's not happening anymore because everyone realized that movie is bad.
Okay, listen, you're going to really dangerously derail.
Rain Johnson.
You're going to derail us if you head down the Star Wars thing. It's partially my bad. Yeah. I bit on the bait, but, let's stay on target.
It's fine. All I was going to say was people who have done enough good things did one bad thing, but they've done more good things than bad things. For people who know who they are, they're not good. This is going to be a blip on the radar in a couple of years. They'll be like, oh, haha, remember Cyberpunk? Up until how they deal with it.
A month ago, these guys had not a month ago, when the crunch stuff started happening. Up until then, they had like a sterling reputation. So it's just been they've had so many misfires that I guarantee you, just like No Man's Sky in let's say March or April of next year when they release their big patches and their first batch of DLC for free, no one's gonna be caring about this shit.
Yeah, and to Chris's other point earlier about refunds, like I think sometimes people just want to be like a part of something, right? And they're like, oh, well, I have an opportunity. Well, plus also, like, let's be honest, times are tough right now. If I could get $60 back, I'll take that $60. But for a lot of people, right? Like, look, you get the point. But I mean, like, I think it's also like, oh, everybody's doing it. Well, I'm going to do it too, right? Like, there's some of that. There's also some genuine need. But the fact that, to Chris's other point, the fact that Sony is like giving out refunds, it's like NFL owners acknowledging that they are not nice to black people.
Yeah.
Justin, I say if you want the second coming of gaming, just go download like Shadow of the Colossus remake or something like that. There's so many amazing, incredible games out there that could make you a believer. Like
What's
Hades. Hey, Justin, come up to my apartment. Come up a few floors and let's play a cup. I'll show you some good games, baby.
For those who don't know, Chris and Justin live in an abandoned building. It's very, very tall, and there's several empty haunted floors between the two of them. So the reason they've never met in person is because they're both scared of the ghosties.
I will haunt your butt.
I don't leave my apartment for that reason right there.
Wait a minute. Why do you have that sound? And also, great sound.
Why wouldn't we have that sound? I'm going to counter with why wouldn't we?
Why not?
Yeah, well, I want to I feel like in the locker room of all your sounds, like that guy's out there patting himself on the back. Like that was his time to shine.
That's Mr. Sam Cooke.
Yes.
Not related to the singer.
Oh, you sure?
No.
That's also a t-shirt you can find on some shitty site called teespring.com. So
that's true.
Yeah.
I love how fucking butthurt you are about teespring.com. It's amazing.
Yeah. I'm that salty piece of venison that Justin made. That's what I am. I'm just caked in salt and just completely inedible.
Your dear brother's just licking you.
Yeah, he's just looking at me and I'm like, yeah, you're gonna have a heart attack,
Man,
Doug, where do you fall? Doug and Justin, where do you guys fall on? Because I find myself split between whether to vilify CD Projekt Red or kind of be a little forgiving for them, considering everything that's going on. The one thing I'm not forgiving them on, of course, is like the whole crunch thing. But I think everything else, I'm kind of split.
I'd say I'm not too forgiving on the fact that they really lied. I think that's really what it boils down to. There wasn't like misleading. They straight up lied on how this game is performing, on what they showed. There was interviews with I don't know if it was the CEO that's like, this runs surprisingly well on, PS4 consoles when it didn't. And they knew that it didn't. Or they're putting embargoes on reviewers and they're making them send out specific images because the hype was so big that they had to try and cover their ass, and it didn't work. It's one of those things where one of my favorite shows is Scrubs, and in one of the episodes, the janitor's
I'm no Superman.
That's right, and the janitor's trying to convince JD and Turk that there's this he has this twin brother who's hanging out in the hospital, and they're like, "We know it's you dressed up as this other guy." He goes, "No. We're gonna go down, and the doors. This elevator door is gonna open. You're gonna see him standing right there, and you're gonna say you're sorry." The door opens. There's no one there, and they look at him. He goes, "I don't know what I didn't know what I thought was gonna happen. Honestly, like." I just it was a Hail Mary sort of situation. I think that's what they got themselves into, was they dug themselves in too deep. And I'm really big on, our life is full of so many lies and untruths and misleading things that when it comes to, like, at this stage of my life, I really need to trust a company, something that produces something. Like, I need to believe that it's going to be good, because my time is incredibly valuable. And kind of like what Steve was saying, this is a tough time for most people, like money-wise. So you're asking me to buy something of yours, and you're presenting it one way, and you're lying to me. That's pretty unforgivable. Like, I'm going to have a hard time trusting you in the future, because it's now, is that driven by the market and the gamers who want this amazing next-gen experience, and they're asking for X, Y, and Z? Sure, that's part of the equation. I think there was something that said that 98% of the dialogue choices in there don't mean anything. They don't affect anything that you do. It more or less just changes the next dialogue option that you have. So, and tell me what your game is. All right, just tell me what it is. And if I like it, I'll buy it. And if I don't, I don't. I don't like all games. Some games are just for me or whatever. So to answer your question, I do hold them mostly responsible, one, for poor project management, and two, they were dishonest to their fans and to their consumers. And to me, there's no excuse for that. That's just them trying to pretend that this is all going to somehow work out, and it just didn't. So
I think the moral of the story is we just need to stop fucking trusting large companies to tell us shit.
I think a couple people in the chat just got a giant boner hearing you say that.
Bingo. I am in this.
Nice.
I'm in a very similar camp where I think that I'm less forgiving. Again, don't really have a dog in this fight, or horse in this race, dog in this race, horse in this fight.
But you have a dog.
I don't have a horse in this fight. Yes.
I like horse in this fight. Yeah, that's
right
perfect.
here. I don't have a horse in this fight. I'm going to use that from now on. That's my new thing.
It's like they got their hooves and they're like standing on their back legs, trying not to fall, because if they fall, they're gonna get shot, right? So
there's no dog in this horse. There's no dog in this horse.
Yeah. I like that.
Jared said this is the worst Cyberpunk since Keanu's been involved in since Johnny Mnemonic. Clearly, he hasn't seen Matrix 2 or 3. Anyways, continue.
Hey, look. Hey, the toilets flush backwards in New Zealand. All right, let Matt have his moment. Fuck you, Jared. Matt, my motherfucker. We went to a baseball game.
I think what you really mean is,
fuck me, slutty.
I think that's what you mean.
Sorry, Justin. I cut you off.
That's okay.
Yeah, so did I.
I am in the same camp in that you lied to your consumers. And at the end of the day, you took 8 years, a lot of money. You took pre-sale orders, and you put out a subpar product. And that, like, at the end of the day, that's and you put out a subpar product and then try to defend it. That's, to me, I'm like, fuck you. You've lost a giant chunk of credibility that I might have given you otherwise. So I think the fact that they took so long, they made their workers work so hard, they took the money, put out a subpar product, and then defended the subpar product. I don't see a reason to forgive them, personally.
Also, I think Noah Reno sums this up with, it's not very cyberpunk to defend the corporation that hurt its employees and the consumer.
Yeah, there you go.
Pretty good.
I also like, they also ruined highlighter yellow for millions of people. I think middle school did that for me.
I just want Keanu to get out of this unscathed. That's all I'm worried about.
This has nothing to do with Keanu. He's fine. He'll be all right. People are
put
like,
himself behind it so hard.
I watched the entire John Wick trilogy the other night, like Sunday into Monday. I started it at like 10:30 p.m.
Good for you.
I forgot, just because there's
perfect time to start a trilogy of movies.
10 p.m. on a Sunday. That's
the
time to start one. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, let me see if because I was like, I was flipping around the internet and I was like, I haven't seen John Wick in a while.
You were flipping around the internet. What is this like? Let's see what we got on the internet today.
Do you guys not have like a book Do you guys not use the internet in a book?
Nah, I
It's
don't.
called an iPad. Man, Chris, you were joking.
For
He
years,
is
Chris has
bad
been
at this.
printing out books and giving them to me. He said the only way I can log into the internet is when he gives me the newest edition of the internet.
It sounds like a totalitarian state
through the roof
over there. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like propaganda and everything, you know?
Yeah, it's called the Worship Chris because he's great times. Because the internet just turned into a newspaper, I guess. Anyway, I watched all 3 movies. I was up till like 3 a.m. I have no regrets, or no regrets, as my new coffee mug says.
You quoting We're the Millers?
What? No regrets?
Are you quoting the movie We're the Millers starring Jason Sudeikis?
We need answers.
Answer the question.
Yeah, the guy with the tattoo says no regrets, and he's like, "Yeah, man, no regrets." And then Jason Sudeikis quips, "I think you maybe should have one." That's what that's from.
No, I know, but I have a coffee mug that says no regrets. So I
right. So so you bought a coffee mug, a We're the Millers coffee mug?
I don't think it's a We're the Millers coffee mug. It's just
that's what that quote is.
No regrets. I can't imagine that's the only. I thought it was like an internet tattoo. That was like a I don't know.
Yes,
a joke.
Yes. Then a screenshot of Where the Millers made itself onto the internet.
You know, one of those old internet tattoos.
Look, guys, maybe Chris didn't bring me that book. So I don't know. Nowhere on my mug is Jason Sudeikis or Jennifer Aniston.
Yes.
Wait, how did you know that? How did you know she was also in that movie?
Oh, he saw the movie.
Oh,
that child who played.
It just goes on so long.
It really does. Yeah.
But my point is, my mug just says no regrets. I don't know why. Right? It's funny to me. Okay. Jesus.
I mean, I assume it's because someone printed it and you bought it.
It's like $3 at the.
You're going to thrift stores in a pandemic
to buy mugs?
Yeah.
In this economy?
My objective. And it's also one of those thrift stores that's immediately attached to a medical clinic. So because all the funds go to the medical clinic, guys, is nobody else going to thrift stores and just touching drinkware with their mouths? Is that?
You gotta make sure it's a good fit, you know.
I'm not gonna spend $3 to $4 on a coffee mug if I don't like the mouthfeel. Like
Jared corrected me and said in Where the Millers it's spelled no regrets. Jared, did you Google Where the Millers? Why is everyone fucking dealing with Where the Millers today? Why is everyone talking
Matt
about
with the ace in the hole?
Hey, New Zealand Matt with the ace in the hole.
Hey, they're COVID free. They're COVID free, so he doesn't even do shit.
He can put his mouth in as many drinkwares as he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I'm just practicing for my trip to New Zealand to visit Matt.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Welcome, New Zealand. Put your mouth on anything.
Can that be something?
That could absolutely. We could isolate that. That sounds like a good thing we could do.
Yep.
That's fine. What's the time code on that? I'm gonna go ahead and put the time code. There we go. All right.
I imagine that's just what
time code that right up.
Other tourism.
Here's the thing.
Also,
not everyone
speaking of time code.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm saying, speaking of time code, guys, it's the 4 of us, and just like the hit movie Time Code. Anyone seen that before? Bye.
Oh man, it's
Time Code. It's a movie. It's 4 screens in a cube like this, and it's 4 hour-and-a-half long single takes, each following a different character. And they, it's
never
like
heard of this movie.
Very good movie. It's called Time Code. Check it out.
Is it called Time Code though?
Check it out.
Does it have anything to do with? Does it have anything to do with the Jean-Claude Van Damme cop noir hit Time Cop? Because if so, I'm on board. If not, yes. I would still maybe watch it. Time Cop's.
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting Justin. Justin, what were you gonna say? What
were you legitimately don't remember.
It's about Cyberpunk.
No idea. I'll tell you. Speaking of time codes,
And New Zealand putting your
0.7
mouth
second.
on things. Oh,
0.7 seconds.
How about that for a fucking transition? You fucks.
Dude, you segued Doug right off the cliff, just like the purchaser of the Segway company from the guy who invented the Segway, according to Jared, because he wanted to correct me earlier, but I didn't mention that.
Okay. That's one, Chris.
So if you're a fan of this show, if you're a fan of this show, you know that we have a reoccurring sound drop that we do. It's our 0.7 second sound drop, right? It's Headstrong by Trapt. Well, Doug, tell everyone why Trapt is on the outs with us.
They're bad.
There you go.
Oh.
Are they actually like DCMAing you or something?
No, they got kicked off Twitter for amongst other things of their very strong right-wing conspiracy thoughts. They also said that pedophilia was okay, and specifically referring to a 25-year-old woman having sex with a 15-year-old. They said that would be cool.
It's okay if the woman does it to you.
Yeah, he's like, I'd high five that kid if he did it, and then
oh, fuck you.
They were gone. I'm pretty sure they're still on Parler though, so if you guys want to check them out on Parler, by all means, yeah, you guys can do that. So
we can't abide by playing anymore for any sort of pun or joke. So what we're gonna do now, since we have the guys from the Reviewniverse on, I have curated, if you will, a selection of new 0.7 second sound drops that I would like. We're the four of us, really the three of them, are going to. None of them have heard what any of these are, and we're going to let the people in the Twitch chat chime in. But I want the three of you to help us pick the new 0.7 second official sound drop for the Mind Gap podcast. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys what these songs are. Part of the fun will be to see if you guys know what these songs are, and then we can review them and pick one. So we begin with number one.
Nope. Next.
Rainbow Connection.
Accurate. But the Kermit the Frog version, not the Kenny Loggins version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Sum 41? Were they about to say their own band name?
It is. Yep.
Yeah.
Sum
41. Yeah. They were doing a cover of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Yeah.
So we're saying
the rainbow.
no to that. Okay. Number two.
It's that sex positive song about where to find the clit.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Where is it? Clit.
Splooge.
All right, that one's
Splooge.
that one's a maybe. That one's a maybe for me.
All right, this one's a maybe. Okay, so we go with number three.
Yeah, that's my vote.
That one's so far as that one's leading, I think.
Number three is leading. One more time.
Wait. Oh, is that a guy who's about to vomit?
Wait, am I supposed to say?
He's down with the sickness, is what he is.
Yeah, it's disturbed.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. So we've got, so that's the leader right now. This one, I put this in here to really get Seth's, blood going.
Oh, that's Rammstein.
It's the butthole. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's our butthole bit.
Y'all playing some Rammstein?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Rammstein. All right, so that's number four. Number five. Doug, you'll love this one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Doug,
it's amazing how quick 0.7 seconds
from New
happens.
Zealand? Have a little fun. Live a little. Yeah. Get my fucking name right.
Yeah. Pull out your ray
6.
gun, fill it with sugar, and shoot it.
Number 6.
Sorry.
Steve,
here we go.
Fucking God.
I met Mark McGrath in person. He looks really weird.
That tracks. All of that tracks. Here we go.
Like a chump. Limp Bizkit.
There it is.
Yep.
Number 7. Oh, sorry, Chris, please.
I was gonna say, are y'all talking about jerking off onto a biscuit?
Mm-hmm.
Where they get their name from?
Mm-hmm.
If If anyone didn't know that, it's the name of their band is based off of a tradition in frat houses where a bunch of guys jerk off onto a biscuit, and then the last one to jerk off onto the biscuit has to eat the biscuit filled with jizz.
Also known as soggy biscuit is another commonly known phrase for the same thing.
That person has to eat the biscuits.
About Limp Bizkit lore. Today, on Volume 3, we have Chris Miller giving you the origins of ejaculating on bread. Chris, take it away.
I
Is that Chris or was that the soundboard?
You'll never know.
I went Michael Winslow with that one.
Okay. I thought Chris just leaned into the microphone and just Michael Winslow, I guess. But oh man, gross. Justin, I completely cut you off. I'm sorry. It's the delay.
That's fine. It's over. So number 7.
The Reviewniverse is a podcast about interrupting Justin.
Number 7.
It's been.
Is that
if you didn't know, that is Steve's go-to
one of them
karaoke song.
Oh, okay, yeah. Nice. That's your hotspot song.
I felt alive for the first time since mid-March hearing that.
Nice.
We haven't done karaoke for almost a year.
Hold on.
It's been.
That's the one.
It's been.
Just it.
I already heard. I heard the next one, and I know what it is.
You're right. Well, I feel like this is the one that's going to be. I feel like you can't argue against it. No.
Nope.
This song plays in Reviewniverse.
No.
Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it.
Nope.
All right, let's get through these here. All right,
The worst is that is actually going to be stuck in my head for way too long. Look at that part.
Look at it.
Where are you, bare naked ladies? When I need you.
It's been.
That'd be the Raiders of the Lost Ark, like melty face man.
Look at this. It's Ben. Look at this.
We never thought about the combination. The old
we
1-2
never
punch.
thought about the combination. All right, so
7.7s. That's the new thing. 7.7s. 7.7s. So it's just for almost 5 seconds straight of just.
Oh,
people are like, "What is this madness?"
Okay, here we go. Hold on. Here we go. Number 9.
Oh, okay. Little alien ant fart.
That's a good one.
I feel like you missed a big opportunity there to play number. Anyways,
And that's probably about what 0.7 seconds would be on that. All right, here we go. Someone called this out. Here's the thing. I immediately veto and override this one, but I put it on here just because of the history of the show. Someone already asked for it in the chat. Here you go.
New kids.
The block had a bunch of hits. Chinese would make me sick, and I think it's fun.
Yep. Summer Girls by LFO.
Yes.
Yep.
Man,
And this was a late.
This is a really good list of 10. That's all.
And this is a late minute, a last minute addition. Just as we were preparing to come on air, this got brought up. So this is one more that we have. So 11. Right, my own worst enemy. Okay, So out of those, what do we think?
All right, can we go through them again real quick? Just real quick.
Here.
Some.
Nope, that one's out. No. That's a lead contender, I think.
Okay.
It's been.
That one gets you every time, though.
It's so good.
I'm gonna keep that.
Keep that one.
1 week since you left in me.
Keep that one.
I think it's the only one that can stand on its own.
I agree.
Like that's almost a full sentence.
That one is strong because that's what I'm also listening to these for. Is like how when you play them, it's like whoa, it grabs you. So
it has a subject and a verb.
Look at.
New kids.
There you
all
go.
right. So I like.
Now I have 4 alternatives to 4 of these as well.
What?
So So instead of this one,
too many options.
So instead of this one, we also have.
Hey now.
Oh, from the same.
Hey now.
I like that
Or-
actually. Hey now.
Some hey now.
Wait, Steve, are
Yeah,
you a
that's pretty
mouther?
good.
Are you a mouther, Steve?
Excuse me.
Are you a
Smash
mouther?
Mouth.
I was like, no, can you not hear me? I'm talking for real. Like,
So I feel like, and
It's been.
I feel like those are the two top contenders.
Yeah, I think.
and don't use my enthusiasm. For
Oh,
two
I am
words
100%
of very
voting
naked
for-
lady
I'm 100% voting for BNL.
to like sway your recurring joke. I just it hits a chord for me. That's all I have to say.
All right.
Oh, am I supposed to be voting?
I'm voting for it. I'm voting for it's bet.
That's my vote. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with. I think the disturbed one's a little. It's too obvious. You know, it's too obvious. I think it's been is something. I think it
Too
was
obvious.
It's too obvious. It's something that everyone knows, and I think it's been is unexpected.
It's been.
And also very prolific. And while it doesn't have a whole lot of musical quality to it, like the Trapt thing did,
Whoa.
you know,
Cochran,
because
hey.
that's the thing about Trapt. Trapt was like bum bum bum. You know, it was like whoa. That's the thing where
Well, I also like that it doesn't have the N in it's been.
it's bad.
It's been
E dash and then it ends.
right.
It's bad. It looks like he's saying
you want it to resolve.
it's almost like he's saying it's Ben. You know, it's like it's Ben.
Oh my god!
Do you
I
have
one more-
anyone whose name is Ben? Who
I tell you
listens
what,
to
when we
the
do,
podcast,
you bet your ass
it's
that we're gonna play
the
that.
second they come into the chat or anything like that,
fucking on.
you're fucking set.
There you go.
I do
There it
have
is.
one more contender. If you guys will, if you'll permit me,
Yes.
one more contender. You guys, you'll like this one.
Welcome to the Throwdown.
Oh yeah, it's time.
Steve's
for the
confused.
throwdown.
That's their intro for their segment called the Throwdown. Steve.
If you'll remember, the last time you guys were on, we did Gene Siskel versus Roger Ebert.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
So-
That's right.
So today's
I think
throwdown,
cancer came up.
it did, unfortunately.
I don't think you're wrong.
Yes,
It's been.
cancer. Did we not expect that to be used in that way?
It's great. Oh, you're already finding good uses for it.
Noah goes, oh shit, useful already.
Yeah.
It's been cancer. Oh,
Oh,
Doug,
man.
are you ready?
I'm ready, sir.
All right. So, Douglas, take it away.
This week's Throwdown is Tom Cruise versus Christian Bale.
So, Tom Cruise recently had a little bit of a meltdown on set.
I saw
Without
that.
getting too far into it, I fully support him. I think he was 100% protecting lots of jobs and the integrity of the set. We won't get into it. But Christian Bale, also known for a gigantic meltdown on set while filming
Terminator
T4?
Salvation.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
these two hotheads, these two movie-loving hotheads, they're going to go face to face. Doug, do you want to set us up with a scenario where these two might meet and they might be on tilt?
Of course, they're
And can
starring
you
in a
do it
movie.
with the throwdown filter on. Oh, sorry.
What do you mean?
I like your throwdown voice.
Oh, my
filter.
voice? Okay,
Like,
here we go.
yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
We'll add some.
All right,
Yeah.
they're on the set of a new period piece gladiatorial movie, and these two are set to duel each other in a scene because that's what movie actors do. And as they're facing off, they're really getting into their method pieces, and they've actually have actual swords. And Christian Bale takes a stab too close to Tom Cruise and actually nicks the side, and he starts to bleed a little bit. And Tom Cruise turns to him and says, "What the fuck are you doing?" And Christian Bale in character goes, "I'm gonna kill you, and I will be Emperor of Rome."
And that's how it starts.
That was really cool.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So obviously,
Christian
Bale has it has done method acting work to become the actual Emperor of Rome, right?
Without a doubt.
Okay, so
And the Batman.
so we can assume that Christian Bale at least is well versed in the fighting techniques of the Roman Empire.
Yes, absolutely, without a doubt.
Okay. So I think that would give him a leg up right off the bat.
Well, I'd also say that Christian Bale is 6 foot. Tom Cruise is 5'7". Bit of a height difference, maybe a little bit of a reach, situation.
Yeah, but if you've ever seen Magnolia, you can see a nice little shot of Tom Cruise's dingus. So I think he may have Christian Bale beaten there.
He's tripod, is what you're saying.
Unless it was
Here's the thing. I think it depends on what movie that Christian Bale is training for at that given point, right? Which we've decided as like the Conqueror of Rome, so he's going to be in good shape. Like if he was doing it as he was Dick Cheney too, right?
Yes.
Like if he was doing it as Dick Cheney, Cruise might have him. Emperor of Rome, I'm thinking like Maximus from Gladiator. Let's get Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
I think Bale. I think it's Bale. Although Tom Cruise, Scientologist, aliens.
Also, have you seen the goddamn interview with him on Oprah? He's got crazy people strength.
He's got crazy people strength, and he also does his own stunts. He is a legitimate badass without
he learned to fly
fear.
a helicopter for Mission Impossible.
Right. He hangs off the Dubai Tower. He fucking hangs off airplanes.
Prolific runner.
Motherfucker.
Prolific runner.
I mean, always running, nonstop running.
Yeah.
Prolific runner.
I would say I don't know if Bale does his own stunts like that.
Well, here's the thing: Bale is 12 years younger.
Oh,
but Cruise is still jumping off fucking cliffs on a motorcycle and parachuting.
He does bathe in the blood of virgins, so that probably helps with his vitality.
Very true.
How about a fucking plot twist? The movie is directed by David O. Russell. Famously, God damn it, famously angry director who has also had its own on-set blow-ups.
Right.
Specifically at Lily Tomlin.
Exactly. I heart Huckabees, bitches.
Tomlin, the nicest lady in the world.
Third person added into the ring. I'm doing it. Fuck you guys.
But the thing was, the whole time he's into it. He loves the animosity. He loves the hostility. He's just like, keep filming, keep rolling. We got to get this. This is what we need.
Guys, I think this would be a good movie, like a real movie. We should probably stop making people fight and just make this movie.
Yeah.
Right?
What a
then
Roman...
We're the real winners of the throwdown.
A Tommy Cruise, what's the other guy's name?
It's Christian Bale.
Chrissy Bebe. Oh,
Tommy Cruise and Chrissy Bebe.
Yeah.
Tommy Cruise and Chrissy Bebe, directed by Davey O. Russes.
Chrissy Bebe New Earth. There's a real twist. He can kick now. There's no like Baby New Earth is, right? Dancer. Cheers. No. Never mind.
Totally.
Totally.
Yeah.
Might be
I got you. I got you. Absolutely.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, Doug and I are in the no camp.
So
yeah. Christian Bale, baby.
I don't know. I think I agree with Steve that it completely 100% depends on the role that he is currently playing.
Okay.
And a Roman warrior, a Roman gladiator, which Doug so deftly set up. I think Bebe may have the upper hand here.
Can I?
Go
what
ahead.
if they're in between movies? What if it's just like, because I feel like that's like we're setting up a very specific, like what if it's just Christian Bale on a random Saturday afternoon And
what if
Tom
it's like
Cruise,
a Mountain Dew Doritos commercial where it's just
and Post
Mountain
Malone
Dew.
is there too?
Yeah.
Or it's one
And
of
so
those
he's
new
not
weird
in
Uber
shape.
commercials where they're on either side of the hall, like ordering conflicting food.
Right.
Tonight I'll be eating chicken masala.
Yeah. I love that girl, Katie Holmes, on a burrito. that was his.
Because I ground her up.
I'm gonna rein this back in. I'm gonna rein this right back in here.
Great.
So
Thanks for running it in.
if we are
Good. Nice.
Here's the thing.
feel
Yes,
back.
I will
I'm
say
back. I am back.
if Christian Bale is training for a super intense, him being the method actor that he is, he's bulked up, he's studied fighting styles. He may be able to take Cruise. I still think Cruise is going to give him a real fucking run for his money because
I'm with
he
you.
does his own stunts. He's like Cruise doesn't have a glass jaw. This guy hangs. He hangs deep and hard.
in one of the I see. In one of the more recent Mission Impossible movies, there's a stunt where I feel like Justin, you might be familiar with this, where Tom Cruise jumps from building A to building B and like snaps his ankle in the process and still like runs off set. And that's the take that they used. Like, I don't see Bale doing that,
He full Jackie Chan'd it.
Which,
just
no
like
offense to Christian Bale. I would not do it either. But that just
like
seems like
Viggo Mortensen on Lord of the Rings when he kicked a helmet.
Yeah.
he broke
it
his
was
toe,
like-
right?
Yeah. And they
Broke
kept that
his
take.
tootsie.
He's like, man, that guy is really feeling agony. It's like, yeah, he broke his toe.
Because he did
Yeah.
his
Chevy
I-
Chase
I-
also
I-
did that in the Christmas Vacation movie.
right, but nobody likes him,
Lana
so it
on
doesn't
it.
matter.
I think he's getting better, right? And then,
All right, so my
Chevy
vote,
Chase?
my vote is going to be for Tom Cruise purely for the fact that he never stops, never ever stops. Like he's in amazing shape even at 58, and I think there's a mentality that goes into what he does. I think Bale is in it in the moment. He's a method actor. He's in there in the moment. He's in that thing. But once that's done, he's out. He moves on.
Yeah.
Whereas Tom Cruise is always there. There's always
think
some
Tom
level of
carries
intensity.
He carries that intensity like throughout his. He
Batman
wakes up and he's like ready to go.
I'm going Tom Cruise as well. Again, I think it's completely dependent on Bale's movie, but as we already established, this is a Mountain Dew Doritos commercial, so I think Tom Cruise has it.
Steve, you there with us?
Yeah, I think I see one Bale beating Tom Cruise. That's Batman Bale, but I think otherwise Cruise has it, and specifically
calling it.
Dark Knight Bale. But
Yeah.
And then David O. Russell is a close third.
I forgot about that guy.
Wow, gang, guys, this was so much fun, as expected, as billed. Chris and Steve just making this a very special episode. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. This was amazing.
Of course. Anytime.
that's fine.
We should probbe get you on our podcast at one point, right?
Oh, we'd love
we
that.
should
I don't know.
we
For
should probably
sure.
start that back up.
Yeah.
Well, this is the part of the show where we like to obviously give our guests the opportunity to promote anything they've got going on. Also, if you have any recommendations, if there's a movie, there's a book, there's a TV show, there's a game, anything that you think someone should check out, the floor is yours. Promote yourself, recommend something. It's up to you. Go for it.
Yeah, check out our podcast, The Reviewniverse with Chris and Steve, or check out our streaming platform, The Streamvuniverse on YouTube. Our podcast is anywhere you can find podcasts, but also like you guys, check it out on Spotify because it's the best place to listen. And then as for any other media, I don't fucking know. I saw Relic the other day. That's a good fucking movie, y'all. If you're looking for the next Babadook, watch Relic. That shit is fucked.
Really?
You mean the monster that hunts for your hypothalamus?
Yeah. No, it's really quite depressing, and it was like an Australian movie from I think this year, and it
From
went
Jared?
way under. From Jared. No, Jared's from New Zealand. And
Matt was from New Zealand.
it went way under the radar. No one watched it, and it's a horror movie, and it's fucking great. So just
When did it
just
come
check
out?
that out.
Ish.
2020.
Is it like, that's right now.
That's what I said. This year, dumbass.
Like I know what that is. No, I would have the same recommendations as Chris because I only do things with Chris.
Creatively.
So yeah, Chris has gotten me into. I think we get creative. Chris has gotten me into Destiny 2 recently. That's kind of fun. It's like modern Halo. It's kind of neat. So I do that. So I recommend trying that, even if you didn't think you'd like it, because neither of us thought we would like it, and we both like it a fair amount.
Agreed.
Don't do drugs.
We also play. Yeah, we play a lot online. We don't stream Destiny 2. That's just for us. But if you guys want to play, just let us know. Okay, bye.
Awesome. Very good. Justin, what do you got to recommend this week?
On Netflix, I strongly recommend checking out Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. It's the Viola Davis, Chadwick Boseman's last movie he was in. Denzel Washington produced it. August Wilson. It's based off an August Wilson play, and he wrote 10 plays that talk about the Black experience through each decade. So this one happens in I think the 20s. And the one that Denzel was in a few years ago with Viola was Fences. And so Denzel has committed to making the remaining 8 of what they call the century cycle. That's the 10, the full.
Can't wait for a raisin in the sun, baby.
I don't know if that's a thing, but yes. I haven't.
That is a thing.
All right. Cool. So Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Strongly recommend checking it out. I thought it was a fantastic movie, and I'm curious to see what they do with the rest of them.
Nice, very cool. I remember seeing the trailer for Fences, and I was like, "Damn, like this looks really cool, really intense." And I haven't had a chance to check it out, so
I'm going back to watch that one. I think this weekend.
Awesome.
To be clear, I was joking. A Raisin in the Sun is written by Lorraine Hansberry and is a play, but is also about the Black experience. But a good play nonetheless in its own right. God damn it! I'm sorry.
I would recommend the Real Dictators podcast. It's a phenomenal podcast that I started last week, and I've just been absolutely tearing through it. I wouldn't say I'm a history buff, but I'm curious about, you hear different names and you sort of study stuff in school, and I tend to forget like really what happened. And it's a real look at some of the most terrifying and awful dictators in life. There's Kim Jong-il, Joseph Stalin, Mao Zedong, Papa Doc, and the one I'm on right now is Hideo.
Babadook.
It's not Babadook, but it's fascinating because it talks about how did these people become what they were, and what was the lasting effect. And they have obviously experts on the different topics, and it paints a really amazing picture of it. The episodes are like 30 to 40 minutes each, and it's usually like 3 episodes per dictator. Really cool. Check it out. The Real Dictators podcast. Fucking love it. It's phenomenal. So check that out if you get a chance. It's really cool. Speaking of podcasts, don't forget to follow MindGap Podcast on all our social medias at MindGap Podcast.
Really good segue.
It's a very great. See? Thank you. In your face. And also don't forget to check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/MindGap Podcast. Come on by, drop us a follow, hang out with us for both Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Central. We record our podcast live. And also Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Central, we do our video game live stream. This Saturday, December 26th, I'll be doing Total War Warhammer 2. So come hang out. Watch you play the game, and it'll be a good time. Also, don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. We post all of our episodes there, as well as highlights from the show and our streams. And don't forget to follow Justin online as well.
On Instagram and Twitter at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, check us out on
Spotify,
on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, all the places where you can find and consume the old podcasts. And, share us around, subscribe, rate, review, all those things. The big one is sharing. It means so much to us. Just copy the link, share it out to your friends, and say, hey, these assholes are funny. Listen to them. They'll know what it means. And then 2east8th.com/mindgap. And then just keep an eye on all 2east8th stuff. Look, I lied to you all. Sid Penrose isn't going to be done before the end of the year. It's not my fault. So fuck off. Just wait.
Hey.
2021. This year did not deserve Sid Penrose. Next year deserves it.
Well, here's the thing. You're being honest, right? You're not going to release it. It's not going to be unfinished. You're going to release it when it's ready. And you're being honest with your audience and your consumers. Wow. And that's what matters.
Beautiful.
Right. Wow. You know what? I'll say this.
It's been
a long time coming, but it's on its way.
Yes.
Man.
I'm so glad we have this
on.
now. I'm so
That's
glad
great.
you hold the keys to this castle, Justin. It makes me very, very happy. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that's.
And speaking of thank you, I
I'm
want to
keeping
say
all of them.
I want to say thank you to Chris and Steve for coming and hanging out with us tonight. This was an absolute
you, guys.
pleasure having you back on the show.
Thank you. That was a good time. Great way to spend a Tuesday.
Yeah, thank you so
Darn
much
good.
for having us. Hopefully we'll see you guys soon. And once we start up our podcast, we'll have y'all on. Because the reason we didn't last time, we didn't know how to set up 4 microphones.
Hey, we went through the same
It's
thing.
true.
So we know exactly what you're going through. But thank you guys for hanging out. This is great. We'd be happy to be on your podcast.
If you remember back to the first time you came on, remember the rat's nest of
bar.
cables that we had? We
Yeah.
have you guys.
It was
on.
wild. We made it work, but it was wild to say the least. So thank you guys for
That was a
hanging
good
out.
time.
And I also
Thanks
want to
for having
say,
us.
I want to say to you, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you so much.
To our Twitch followers and chat people, thank you.
And listeners, thank you. That's it. Simple.
And with that being said, you all have a wonderful holiday and have a dandy fucking week.
And Steve, thank you, Steve.
Shut up.
Mind Gap Podcast.